want to measure mass. For our object today, we're selecting the mass of a pen. If we look at our scale, the first thing that we want to do, because we're going to be using a triple beam balance, is we want to make sure that we have zeroed our balance. So we're pretty close to adjusting that thumb screw so that the needle comes in there at 0 before we put our object on the pan. And this will allow us to be as accurate as possible. Next, we want to place our object on the pan and begin by moving the heaviest rider that causes this to drop down. So we're just going to guess. We'll start with 10. That's not enough, so we'll go to 20. Too much, so we know we're in the right range, and we'll back up to 10. And now we're going to move the ones. And you can see that our scale measures out to 1/10 of a gram. So we're slowly going to move this until our needle begins to drop. And we want to go till it measures at 0. We're pretty close. And then we want to read our scale. So we have 10 grams on the back. In the front, we know we're more than 10 plus 1 is 11, but less than 10 plus 2 is 12. So we're between 11 grams and 12 grams. And so then we want to read our finest part of the scale. So we know that we're at 11.7, not quite, 11.8. So we're going to guess 11.74 grams. Because our scale is only at 1/10 of a gram, our uncertainty should be plus or minus half of that smallest measurement, which would be plus or minus 0.05. Well, if we say this is 11.74, then this should be somewhere between 11.8 or 11.77 and 11.71, and everybody should somehow be able to measure this object and get the same number. If we slide this over to our digital scale and place the object on the scale, we can see that it reads at 11.8 grams. Well, Ms. Jenkins, you said it should be between 11.71 and 11.77. That's true, but notice that this scale only goes to 0.8. So anything above 7.75 would round up to 0.8, and anything below, of course, would be at 0.7. So we can say that, yes, using either a digital scale or a scale that's marked like this allows us to get an accurate measurement of this. But the other thing that we don't want to do is, because this is a digital scale, we don't want to guess what the next digit would be. We have no basis for doing that. We only want to guess when we have tools that are marked with lines so that we're practicing that precision.